Hey, this is DJ Mega 817, and today I'm going to be making a part 2 to my Kanye West album review, Yeezus. So, pretty much sorry about that. To pretty much explain why I'm doing this, I'm doing this because I felt my first part wasn't coherent enough for the review. Like, I don't think I got my point across very well. Like, I think I got it across to an extent, pretty much to the extent that I let people know I didn't like the album, but not exactly why. I want to go a little more in depth with it because now that's because here's the thing. When I first did that album review, the first part, it was just pretty much my initial reactions, which is why it was called review slash reactions. Now that some time has passed and I got over the initial shock and I've listened to it again, I could come up with a little more coherence discussion or rant or whatever as to my as to how I feel about the album. Now, let me start by saying I still don't like the album. I don't. Not only that, but I'm also starting to see a lot of people trying to see where I'm coming from. Actually, most of the reviews I've seen for this album have been negative. And I'm glad people are seeing this for what it is. Not only that, but this album's actually dropped from like number 1 to number 7, I think, on the top 10 albums on Billboard or whatever. So I think people are starting to see my issue with it. The critics are still praising it, but then I don't really take much into what the music critics have to say, especially those of Rolling Stone magazine, because those guys are just writing this album still, saying it's a masterpiece, it's a response to a masterpiece. All that other garbage. Me, I thought this album was subpar at best. And I think and honestly, I'm being generous here because I've actually heard some people say it was just straight out garbage. I'm not. I don't think it was garbage, but I'm definitely saying it's subpar. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 4 for subpar because this is how my rating goes. 10 is excellent, 9 is great, 8 is very good, 7 is good, 6 is average, 5 is okay, 4 is subpar, 3 is mediocre, 2 is bad, and 1 is terrible. Anything below that is like garbage, just straight up complete and utter garbage. So I'm giving it a 4 for subpar, and I think it deserves it. Because before I gave it like a 5 or a 6, I'm straight up giving it a 4 now. It's just, it was a disappointing album to say the least. My first issue with this album would be the production. Now, I still stand somewhat by what I said about I did like the beats, but not all of it. I like the beats because it was industrial. That's really about it. Because I like industrial music. Me, I have like a pretty wide taste in music. I don't like everything, but I do like a lot of stuff. This just so happens to be one of those things. But this was not good industrial at all. And I understand this is more of an experimental album, but that's another problem to get into after I talk about this one. The production on this album, I thought, was also like subpar. The problem is that there's too many producers on this album. Kanye West is producing this album along with Rick Rubin and Daft Punk. All I think are very good producers for the most part, and have done well with what they produce. But the problem is that they all come together to produce this type of album, something I don't think any of them have ever produced before. Has any of them ever had experience in producing a hip hop industrial album? Now, I could ask if any of them had experience in producing hip hop, period, or electronic music for that matter. The answer would be yes. Rick Rubin has produced hip hop before, but I will say that his best stuff is probably his rock related stuff. Because his hip hop stuff he usually does is more like rap rock. And Daft Punk is known for their electronic stuff. They've done a few hip hop stuff here and there, really for like Kanye. I think they've done it for a few other people too, but I'm not sure. But they really more like electronic production, specifically house music. Kanye West is just straight up hip hop. However, as we know, in recent times he's been trying to experimenting, and this is one of the reasons why this album has been praised so much by critics, because this album is different. And I'm going to get into my problems with that notion as well. Pretty much, the production was, as I said, it was subpar. The industrial beats were alright, but there were just certain things in this album that really just did not mesh together. There was some rock songs on here that really just shouldn't have been. I don't know why he did. I don't know why he did that. He's doing some rock songs. Like, I think it was like 2 or 3 of them that was like rock oriented. Why? It was just random. And not only that, but there was times where where he was screaming on the album. I'm like, really? Why are you doing this? And then like the last song was like just doesn't fit at all. I'm gonna get into that as well. But those are like some issues there. But going back into the production thing, when you have too many producers on the album, chances are it's gonna come out badly. There is a chance it could come out well, but I think there's a bigger chance of it coming out badly. Especially if the producers are completely different producers. Meaning, they produce different genres of music, and maybe they just don't have the right chemistry. Having too many producers can cause problems because you're getting too many. I don't know how to explain it. I guess too many sides, I suppose. Too many personalities, too many. I guess I'll say too many sides or whatever. There's too much being put, and there's too much of whatever that's being put into this. Too many viewpoints, too many stands. Not only that, but I don't know if the thing is, I think each of them have worked together at one point or another. Or at least Kanye has worked with these guys at one point or another. I know he's worked with Def Punk, kind of, and I'm not sure about Rick Rubin though. I'm just assuming so, since he has a connection to Jay Z, and Jay Z, he's with Def Jam. So I'm just assuming that he's had some, you know, history with them, or at least had some experience in recording with them. But whatever. Anyway, there's just too many viewpoints or whatever, and too many like different styles and personalities clashing. As far as the music, as far as the production work is concerned, the beats and whatever, it's clashing too much. Not only that, but I also felt like just all of them in general did not put their all into it. Like it's like they half did it, if you know what I mean. They didn't really put their all into it, and I think that's another problem within itself. Now, problem number 2 is, yeah, I spent a lot of time on that. Problem number 2 would be the amount of time he took to make the album. I found out recently that he took 15 days to do this album. 15 days. 15 days to do an experimental, industrial, progressive-ish hip-hop album. 15 days to do that. And I'm like, really? No matter why it sounds crappy, no matter why it sounds like the production was half done, because it probably was. You can't make an album like that within 15 days. You can't make an album in 50 days in general and be good. I have yet to hear an album made in 15 days less actually come out well. Nine times out of 10, it's not going to do an album. And this kind of goes into one of my issues with general. Something I will be talking about in a later. I might use it as a reference to that because this is ridiculous. 15 days to make an album like this. I would say at least take a year to do it. This is unacceptable. There's just no way it's gonna come out well, especially if you're trying to do like an experimental, aggressive-ish type of thing. You need more time than that, and even more so if you're experimenting with something you've never really done before, something that's foreign to you. You've never done industrial music before. Uh, oh, and of course, the mixing too many things together, which goes back to the too many producers things and them not putting their all into it. So that's that. Problem number three, which is the main problem I addressed in my first part of this review, the main problem I had with the album, which was the lyrics. The lyrics on this album is horrible. Just straight up horrible. If I had to rate that on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it like a 2 at best. Really. I won't give it a 1 because I've actually heard worse. It's not like Soulja Boy, Walk a Flock of Flame type of bad, but it's still pretty damn bad. Like, I would say it's almost like Rick Ross, Lil Wayne bad. Yes, I said it. First off, the lyrical complexity is non-existent. The rhyme schemes are very simplistic, and the substance within the songs is very shaky. Meaning, it's there, but it might as well not be there. He contradicts himself within this album too much, which is another big issue I have as far as the lyrics are concerned. Probably the biggest one at the moment was just the fact that he contradicts himself. One time he'll make a song about something actually bad. Let's just say poverty, and then the next one he's talking about how much money he got. Now I'm not saying he actually made a song about poverty, but I'm just using that as an example. That's something he did. He would do something like that, and then right in the next song, he will make a song about how much money he has, and then in the next song he'll try to do like another conscious song again. And pretty much of the song, and then you have like the few other songs where it's just random non just threw in there. Hence the screaming or the unnecessary rock oriented stuff he wanted to throw in there for whatever reason. I'm assuming Rick Rubin has something to do with that. Because that has like Rick Rubin all over it. I'm not sure how much Def Punk played in this because I'm hoping they didn't play that much into it because I am a big fan of Def Punk. And that's another thing too. Did they deliberately do a poor job production wise? Because I know they really recently released an album, Random Access Memory. Maybe they did do it on purpose because they probably knew once Kanye released his album, it was gonna go straight to #1, and their album was gonna drop because their album before his album was #1, theirs was #1. So he kind of knocked him off the #1 spot. So I'm pretty sure they were nervous about that. I'm not saying he exactly did it, but he's partially responsible, I guess. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure if they're even still on the list anymore. No, I think they're still on the list. I think they're like either right above or below Kanye at this point. I think they're like barely on the list right now. For example, like Timberlake's album, the 2020 Experience, it was on there for a while. It recently just got off the top 10 because it was like hanging on for a while. I'm kind of rambling here. But anyway, that was a big issue I had, which was the lyrics. Now, going into the whole praising of the album being different, which I guess would be problem number 4. An album being different isn't really... Here's the problem I have with that. I don't think people should be praising something just because it's different. I think that's stupid. Like I said before, it's the execution I think that really matters. It's not just the attempt. Because I think that's what people... I've actually heard people defend this and say, like, at least in the comment section, like, this album, maybe the execution wasn't great, but at least it's the fact that he tried. That's what makes this a great album. Like, no, it doesn't. If he tried and failed, then it means he failed. You're gonna praise him just because he attempted to do it? And what annoys me most about this is because I know he's capable of doing better. Case in point, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. He did that, and he did a much better job. This, he did a poor job here. Poor. And we're supposed to praise him for that? Because he tempted to do something, different or like obscure or avant-garde or experimental or whatever. No. No, I'm not doing that. It's stupid. I'm not gonna praise him for that. You either do it right or don't do it at all. That's how I feel about it. Really. The fact that people are even thinking that, it says a few things to me. One, that you have a lot of Kanye West riders that, ride him to the ends of the earth, fanboys, fangirls, whatever. Then on the other side of it, it just shows how bad the music scene has gotten now that anything that's slightly different, no matter if it's done well or not, they'll praise. Really. Kanye West. And I also stand by what I said before about him, that he should just stop rapping. He really should. As a rapper, I never thought he was never really an amazing rapper. What made him, I guess you could say, a quote unquote good rapper was the substance in the songs. As far as skills are concerned, he was like average at best. But now that the fact that the substance is pretty much dwindling, why is he still rapping now? What's the point? And that's another thing too. It's like I was really skeptical coming into this album because the album is called Yeezus. So, and considering the path he seems to be going now, because I feel like ever since he did Watch the Throne, he's just been falling off. Because it feels like his ego and his arrogance is really starting to affect his music now. Because you can really see that in Watch the Throne, the collab album he did with Jay-Z. Oh, and by the way, if you guys want me to review Jay-Z's album, let me know. Because unless I've run into the album, I have no intention of reviewing it. Or at least, listening to it, or at least going out of my way to listen to it. So if you guys want me to review it, then let me know in the comment section or personal message or whatever. Anyway, ever since he did that album, because that album was pretty much just them saying, I'm better than you and look how cool I am. And all that other crap, and just them praising themselves and stroking each other. Really, since then, he's really been falling off. He's been doing a lot of stupid singles lately, and by that I mean he's been jumping on stupid songs with all those clown rappers, those clowns like 2 Chainz and all them clowns. He's jumping on songs with them now. He's just his lyrical. As I said, his rapping skills are being diminished until their level. Did I say that right? No, I don't care. I'm not doing another take. Yeah, it's been diminishing, and overall, I'm just disappointed here. I really am. As I said, his production, him as a producer is where his strength lies, and I think that's what he really should just focus on and just thinking about rapping. But even now, I'm not sure how long that's going to last. Considering his arrogance is really affecting his music now, so I guess it's only a matter of time before his production starts going downhill too. I mean, look at will.i.am. He was a decent producer before, and now his production is going like to the toilet. And I have a fear that Kanye's gonna go down that same path too, where his production is just gonna fall apart. Because as I said, he's pretty much like the rapper. He's like kind of like will.i.am in the sense that he raps, but he's a better as a producer. But I don't know. After listening to this album, I feel like his future is bleak. I don't know what to say here. I think I've said pretty much all my issues with this album. And surprisingly, this video came out longer than I hoped it would. It's actually longer than the first part. But I have a lot to say about it. Because I'm just disappointed with this album. I'm disappointed with Kanye West. And I feel like he's going to just fall apart and he's just going to be just another crap rapper slash producer that we have been, I don't want to say cursed with, but kind of, yeah. That, the type of rappers and producers that we have now in the mainstream. He's kind of going down that road. What a sad day. And he has talent. That's the sad part about it. But, it is what it is, I suppose. I think I've pretty much covered all my issues with this album. Actually, there is one more thing I want to talk about, which is him being a groundbreaker. Another thing people been complaining about with this album is the fact that his album sells like Death Grips. For anyone who doesn't know who Death Grips are, they're pretty much an industrial hip hop group. I haven't listened to much Death Grips, but I could kind of see where they're coming from. And yeah, another thing too is that, at least in the sense that he's not really being innovative, he's just bringing it to the mainstream. He's not really expanding the horizons of hip hop, and that's the other thing he's been praised about, going back into him being different, which is him expanding the horizons of hip hop. Yeah, I already knew he wasn't expanding it that much. I do think he slightly expanded it with my beautiful dark twisted fantasy. Even though that album was also like an experimental progressive hip hop album, that album at least had a focus. This album, there was no focus at all. It was just all over the place. The only song I actually liked on this album was Bound To, which is the last song of the album, which is what I said before, is just the song that pretty much stands out like a sore thumb. And I think part of the reason for that is because originally this album was supposed to have 9 songs, and I think the record companies or somebody told him that he had to put 10 songs on it, at least 10 songs. So I guess he threw this on there. But the thing is, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little blank here. The thing is, I actually like the song. I think it was the best song on the album. And no, not because it's kind of like reminiscent of his older stuff, like late registration and college dropout. No, that's not the reason. Just, alright, maybe it's slightly, but it just sounded like the most emotional, provoking songs he actually put on that album. And if it does turn out that song was the song that wasn't even supposed to originally be on the album, and I might laugh because that would be hilarious. The only song I really enjoyed on this album was the song that wasn't even supposed to be on it. All the other songs that I've heard people say that was actually good songs are like the best songs on this album, like New God and No, I Am a God and New Slaves and what was the other one? Blood something. And that song that featured Chef Keith, that rapper that did that song, I don't like. Yeah, he's featured on this album. That should have been a red flag that this album is going to be. And I've actually heard people say Chef Keith's version was good. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. Alright, I'll give him credit. It was slightly better than usual, but it still wasn't good. It was still meh. It was okay. Really. And that's another song people like, yeah, that was like one of the best songs. I forgot the name of it. I don't really give a crap. The other songs, which, as I said, was stupid. And with the song like New God stuff, I was hoping that he would actually go to the what was that song called? Jesus Walk route, where he would kind of like flip and make it into like a really like complex, intellectual, conscious type of song, like with that, and even slightly what he did with Gold Digger, where he kind of did like a twist in the end. But he didn't go that route. It was really just pretty much him just bragging about how he's a god or whatever. or he's on God status, pretty much. And like, really, really, yeah, of course you are, because with that material release, of course you're like on God-like status. Hey, don't kid yourself, really. Honestly, after listening to that, I would say you're far below that. I was gonna make a Bleach joke, but I'm not. Anyway, I have to take this turning off. Okay, that was weird. I think I'm going to end the review here. I'm not sure if there's anything else I need to say. I feel like I'm missing something. No, I said everything I wanted to say. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is my part two. This is gonna be the final part of this review. I hope I I hope you guys understood where I was coming from. I hope this was more coherent than my first part. I actually might take the first part down. I was thinking of doing that, but only because I didn't think they did a good job at it. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, if you want me to review Jay-Z's new album, let me know. If you want me to review any of their other albums, let me know. Whatever other music albums in general you want me to review, let me know. Or just anything in general. I review music albums, video games, anime and manga, cartoons, and TV shows. Maybe movies. I might do movies, but it's gonna be like a now and then type thing. So let me know what you guys want me to review or rant about or make a discussion about. Just let me know. I am DJ Mega 817 and I am out. Enjoy. Hope you enjoyed this video and have a nice day.